Alrighty, guys, have an incredibly epic episode for you guys today with my guy Phil. He's signed up over 60 members this year using Google. It's not something that I know very much about. So I absolutely beg Phil to come on because he is living and breathing it and doing incredibly well off Google. And you're a little bit of a nerd on it. You absolutely love it, don't you, brother? So Phil, mate, if anyone hasn't ever met you before, do you want to tell us a little bit about your business and what got you here today?
Sure. So yeah, my name's Philip. I own a gym on the south side of Houston, Texas. OTG Fitness. OTG stands for Only the Greatest, and at
Right,
Only the
man.
Greatest, we help people become the greatest version of themselves by
Yep.
using health and fitness as the foundation of that. I grew up very overweight. My mom died when I was a teenager. I've never met my dad, and fitness saved my life when I was 20 years old. I lost almost 100 pounds. A few years after that, I decided to quit my job. My degree is actually in business management, but I fell in
Yep.
love with fitness. So I quit my job to do this. We're 3 years and 3 months into our journey here at OTG, and
Yep.
things are hopefully looking up. Obviously not where we want to be, but slowly but surely, month over month, we seem to be growing. So definitely nothing to complain about, and big plans for the future.
Man, 100, well, you've doubled your business this year, right? So, you know, our best future prediction of success is what you've done over the last 3 months. So, mate, I'm incredibly hopeful for you. Pretty much you need to keep doing what you're doing and make no mistakes, pretty well, no big time mistakes anyway.
Right. Yep.
Mate, you'll be sweet. You're a savage. Mate, let's talk a little bit about Google.
Sure.
So give you guys a bit of background. Phil and I do private coaching together. Absolutely love it. Catch up every Wednesday, Tuesday, his time. And you just get such incredible results off Google. It's crazy. So one of the benefits of tracking your KPIs, we know how well he's doing off it. So, mate, tell us a little bit about like why you believe in the Google platform, Google My Business, and how it's kind of changed your business and helped you grow this year.
My favorite thing about Google is that you're taking advantage of the situation that the prospect is putting themselves in, right? So
Yep.
they're already on Google looking for personal training. So is it easier to get the person that's scrolling through Facebook, they stop on an ad, think about it, hit learn more, maybe put their information in? Or would you rather have the person that opens their computer or their phone, types in best personal trainer near me?
Yep.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. So
Yep.
when I discovered how that works, it totally changed the game for me. And so that is also the client that really wants the help. So everybody talks about what's your ideal client? What's your ideal client? Who's your avatar and all that stuff? Your avatar is the person that wants to work with you. And
Yep.
nobody wants to work with you more than the one that's on the internet looking for
Searching.
the service that you provide. And the conversion rates are just so much higher.
Above
The
70%.
experience, yeah, the experience of working with these clients that actually want help, they want to be motivated. Literally, a lot of the time, if you set yourself up correctly on Google and obviously on Facebook, and we'll talk about YouTube as well because that's really important with Google. Google owns YouTube, so that's being on YouTube is a really big part of getting ranked on Google. But a lot of times with these leads, when
Yep.
they come in, literally all they're doing is making sure that you don't suck. I mean, seriously, that's how I feel sometimes. Sometimes it's so easy when these people walk in, you just be yourself, show them, make sure you have a good facility, right? Facility's got to be clean because these are high quality clients that are looking for the best service in town. So you have a
Yep.
clean facility with clean operations. You have confidence when you present to them. Dude, the conversion rates are so high. And I think that's why I love Google so much, is because it took me a while to figure that out, but once I did, it's really a no-brainer that you want that client. That's your ideal client, the person
Yep.
that's looking for your service, and that's who we're going after when we're optimizing for Google,
Yeah, and I think the easiest way to put it in perspective, like, at your house, if your, toilet's overflowing and there's poo going on the ground, you're not going to Facebook to find that plumber, right?
Right.
You go to Google, you
Yep.
go to Google quickly, and you're ready to buy. So, with Facebook being pattern interrupt marketing, there's definitely a place for Facebook ads, 100%. But you'd be very, very foolish not to use Google Ads. And in our clubs, we worked with an agency to help with our Google Ads, our Google My Business, and things like that. But the way that you've been able to do it yourself is absolutely incredible, and you actually got better results than what we were getting in our facilities, which is incredible. So mate, you talked a little bit about the sales conversion rates, that it's a lot higher. Now, you have a very, very good sales system, but do you want to talk a little bit about what the conversations are like and why you think it is higher compared to other forms of marketing?
Yeah, I think that the person, by the time that they go in and type in, who's the best personal trainer in town, the conversation that you're going to have with them, there's a really good chance that they've already had it with themselves. So when they come in, you're asking the standard questions, right? Why did you search on Google? That's usually the first thing that I ask people whenever they come in, or I call them on the phone because they search on Google, they fill out the contact form, and then they book a 10-minute call in, like automatically or whatever, right? And so when I call them, even though I know that they came in on Google, I don't necessarily let them know that I know that. Usually what I say is, well, I'm assuming that you were probably on Google looking for a personal trainer, right? And they say, yeah. And then I'll ask, well, what prompted you to do that? What was on your mind? What made you do that? And then they'll just, that's it.
Bang.
That's
Floodgates open.
Exactly. And then literally when they come in at the end of the 10-minute call, we book them in for an appointment, right? When they come in, we just do it again. And I'll straight up say, hey, I know that we already covered these things on the phone, but just so we can make sure we don't miss anything, why don't we just start from the top and you tell me a little bit about what's going on? And that's it. And then you just flow through your sequence, and I think that the client has already kind of sold themselves a lot of times. Obviously not always. There's still a sales process. I think that having a good facility and presenting, like doing your quick little gym tour and everything in a confident way is really important too. When you are talking to a client that is likely to convert anyways, I think those things are just as important or more important than any other situation when you're in that case. But yeah, I usually just ask them like, hey, what prompted you to go online and seek out a personal trainer? And then they really do, man. They just open up and they tell you what's going on.
Yeah, mate, like very high quality leads on Google.
Yes.
Whilst you might not be able to get the massive volume you get on Facebook,
right.
Quality is key to everything. Saves you time, saves you energy, saves you money. And your onboarding improves because they actually want to change, right?
They do. They want it. Yeah. And one other thing too, like on the note of Facebook, that I want to make sure that we mention, I saw a statistic. This isn't necessarily to do with Google Ads, but just your Google presence in general. So and we'll talk about reviews and how important reviews are and your Google My Business page and stuff like that. But a very high percentage of your conversions from Facebook will come via Google because you hit these people constantly on Facebook and they're always second guessing. We even had a guy just signed up last week because he saw our ad on Facebook but didn't want to put in his info. Happens all the time. Oh, wow. People, they don't want to put their information on Facebook because they're afraid they're going to get text messages and phone calls and stuff. And they are. It just is what it is, right?
They know. But they don't want, go down.
Yeah, people don't want that. So what they'll do is they'll go scope you out on Google. They'll remember your business name from your ad and then go to Google and type in OTG Fitness Gym on Google and then read about you on Google. So your Google My Business has to be on point.
Yeah.
That way they get the justification that they need to make the phone call, and then they'll call you. But if they go to
Yep.
Google and they're disappointed, they're not calling. They'll
You're done.
probably click on never show me this ad again on Facebook. You know what I mean?
Targeting. Yeah.
So
Mate,
it's important.
it's really funny you say that. Even now, like as a buyer, everyone watching, listening to this as a buyer in some type of market is for me to give. I put in fake phone numbers for shit now. Like
Me
when you
too.
want like a lead magnet or something, like
Yeah.
traffic and funnels. Like, do you know traffic and funnels?
Yep.
Like those motherfuckers, man. Like called me at 6 a.m. and shit. Just like blew down my thing from a free lead magnet. So now all the other business coaches of the world, like if I want something, it's like they're getting that dodgy number. Like I go and search them because marketers of the world have ruined it with that cold calling and just bugging the shit out of you, daily emails. Like, so, as much as I'm feeling that and then Phil feels that, everyone, the whole other audience does feel that as well, where, they know that giving their mobile number gives you the chance to be absolutely bombarded. Which is, kind of ruined it for those really good businesses, but that's just the world we live in. And mate, let's go. You mentioned really, really good topic on reviews.
Yep.
So one of the best, I got business coaching advice a couple of years ago, and it's like, hey, get 3 reviews a week on Google. We did that, our website searches, and we started to do a little bit better, right? Very, very simple concepts, but mate, explain to me the benefits of the business owners having reviews on Google, and then potentially how you go about getting them consistently.
Yeah, I saw a statistic the other day that said that people trust a Google review just as much as they trust their friend referring them somewhere. So if the
Wow.
Google review is bad, it's their best friend might as well have told them to never show up at this facility. If the Google
Wow.
review is good, it's just as powerful as their friend telling them, hey, you should go check out OTG.
Yeah.
So it's just so powerful. And then there's a couple of layers to it, right? The first layer is your star rating. So
Yep.
even you, if you think about yourself, if you want to go out to eat at a restaurant you've never been to, Yelp is really big for restaurants. In my opinion, not so much for gyms. You still want to have a Yelp listing and everything, but and having Yelp will help you on Google. But when people search for a business, a restaurant, a gym, or whatever it may be, the first thing to look at is that star rating.
Yep.
It's got to be
I do it all the time.
7 or higher. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
would you say 4% or higher?
like
Higher?
4.6, 4.7. It also depends on the amount of reviews. So like personal training gyms like ours, like, you don't have thousands of reviews. We have, like, for an example, OTG, we have about 165 reviews on Google, which is 5 times more than any gym in our area other than like 24-hour fitness, right?
Social proof.
Yeah, they have a lot, but that social proof, as the number goes up, to the total number of reviews, the star rating is allowed to go down, right, in the prospect's eyes. But if there's not very many reviews, they all have to be top quality. If there's less than 50, it better all be 5 stars. But if there's 5,000, then the customer is like, oh, okay, well, obviously some people are going to rate it low. But if there's only 50, you have to be high, because it satisfies the customer's need for them to know that they're going to a legitimate business, right? And then beyond that, inside of the reviews, you want people to actually share their experience, right? You don't. It's one thing to have a bunch of 5-star reviews, but it's another thing to have 5-star reviews and the clients leave a paragraph about how amazing their experience, how clean the gym is, how amazing their personal training is. And that just takes it, to the next level. So those are kind of the layers with the reviews. And then as far as getting reviews, the way that I found to be very successful, a lot of industries and a lot of marketers that I've seen recommend asking for reviews from day one, right after they sign up. Personally, not a fan. I've never even tried it just because I didn't feel right In our industry,
bit too quick, man.
yeah,
Too
in our
quick.
industry, I want the client to feel the experience first. So, we have an automated reminder. Now, our review ask is manual.
Okay.
A lot of people do automated review asks. In my opinion, reviews are so important. Don't leave it in the hands of a computer.
Okay.
So we have an automation that sends me a reminder to ask for the review, not
Yep.
an automated review ask. I hope that makes sense, like the difference there. And
You
then,
know it does. Yep.
yeah, because this is so important. It's such a touchy thing. You also don't want, it also gives you the opportunity to fix an issue. So, like, for an example, a lady I followed up with the other day, the way that our review ask system works sends me an automation. Hey, Philip, time to check in on Jimmy. So I send you a text. Hey, Jimmy, how's everything going at the gym? Just want to make sure to see if there's anything we can do to improve your experience. And this is 8 weeks in. Personally, we do it 8 weeks in. They 99% of the time they answer with a somewhat lengthy text message talking about how much they like it, and then ask for the review. So you don't want to, when you just ask for a review, what I've noticed is people don't know what to say. But if you
Yep.
just ask them, how is your experience? And they give you an answer, then you say, hey, would you mind sharing that in a Google review for us? And I'll send you the
It's
link.
gold.
Yeah,
It's
you
fucking
have,
gold, dude.
because
Gold.
if you just say, hey, will you leave us a review? They're like, sure. And then they just go leave the 5 stars, but don't say anything. If you
Yep.
ask them, how is your experience? They give you a response and say, would you mind copying and pasting that response in Google for us? Literally. And then you send them the link or whatever. And then the other nice thing about that is it gives you an opportunity to, if there is an issue with the client, then you can resolve the issue, which happens sometimes as well, but not as often.
Yeah. So you add like a really good customer service touch point using automations to remind you. It becomes a good touch point for the client where you're showing that you love and care for them and they're a part of our OTG family. And then if we're getting green lights, it makes it easier for them to actually do the Google review where they don't have to overthink it.
Yep.
Mate, that's gold. Guys, like if you can just use that one thing out of this whole podcast or video, that's absolute thunder. My man,
I would say
very,
that's
very
like
smart.
that's probably been the most eye-opening thing or most helpful. Like if you want to ask me for help about like Google, that's the number one way, is like that system of getting reviews has been, and you can use that for Facebook. You can use that for Yelp. There's
Yep.
other review platforms, but obviously in my opinion, that Google is the most important one. So we use that system for
Yep.
Google reviews,
Mate, it's awesome. And you mentioned for the guys, Google My Business.
Mhm.
First, so for those who have no idea what Google My Business is, do you want to give us a rundown of it?
Yeah, so Google My Business is where those reviews are stored.
Yep.
Google My Business is separate from your Google listing. A lot of people don't realize that, but Google My Business, when you're looking up a business, a local business, to have a Google My Business, you have to have a brick and mortar address. So online businesses are not allowed to have a Google My Business page. And
Okay.
so Google My Business is that little in the top right of Google, and then when you're on your phone, it's right in the middle. But if you're on a desktop, it's that little square in the top right where it has the business's hours, the reviews. It has some photos, usually a phone number, and that's Google My Business, and that is also how you get yourself ranked. A combination of other things as well, but in that they call it the 3-pack or the map pack. Those top, there's 3 usually. So when you type in personal trainer near me, 3 people are going to pop up in the maps above all the organic listings. So by having a solid Google My Business, you can get yourself in that map pack without having your actual website on the front page. And the map pack is actually, in my opinion, more important than the organic search result itself, because that's the thing that's boom in your face. Is
Yeah,
that
when
good?
people are searching.
Yep.
Okay.
It's also where you have your photos and everything are all there.
Yeah, and is it for the guys if they don't have Google My Business set up or not set up effectively? What are a couple of things that have really helped you get really incredible results using Google My Business?
So you want to start by creating a Google My Business, right? It's just business.google.com. It's
Actually do it. Actually
Yeah,
fucking create the Google My
actually do
Business. Step
that
one.
first.
Step
And
one.
then, yeah, the most important thing once you do that is consistency across the internet. So make sure, like something that I noticed a while back, our address at our gym, it's we're in a strip center, right? So it has a
You
suite.
mentioned this, yeah.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that however you have your address spelled in Google My Business is consistent across the internet. Make sure it's like Suite. You don't want to have on Facebook it's Suite 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 One, and then on Google though it's SUE1 abbreviated
Yep.
because you have to remember like Google it's a robot, right? It's an algorithm. So you want to be super consistent with your NAP, which is name, address, phone number across everywhere across the internet. So
Yep.
that's kind of step one, and then you start building the reviews. Make sure your hours are up to date. Make sure that you're taking full advantage when you're filling out that Google My Business. Like on the description, I think it gives you like 300 characters. Make sure you're
Yep.
using as close to 300 as you can with keywords. You want
Yep.
a keyworded long description with proper name, address, phone number, updated hours, photos, and then another thing, lastly, that a lot of people overlook that's very simple is actually post to Google. So you
Yep.
can post to Google the same way you post to Facebook, and
Yep.
don't overlook that. It's very powerful, in my opinion, for Google taking you as a legitimate business that cares about their customers and wants to put out quality information on a regular basis.
Yep. So do you do similar posts on Facebook and on Google? You
Oh
just
yeah,
copy it over, or how do you do
yep,
it? Just
same,
repost it?
yep, same. It's
How
pretty
often?
simple. You can there's different post types on Google though. There's like what's new post. It's called what's new. So you can just take an Instagram post or something and put it over there. Get rid of the hashtag so it doesn't look weird. But and then there's also what they call offer posts where you can actually
Yep.
put in an offer and maybe offer a discount or something. And to be like total transparency, you're not going to get conversions off of these posts. It's not going to happen.
Yep.
It's never happened for us. I think it's happened like twice.
Yep.
I think what it does is it just shows Google that you care about them and you're
Yep.
putting out consistent information, so they continue to push your rankings up the ladder. You know.
Yep. Yep. And mate, you mentioned before about having a legitimate website, and how that helps with Google. Do you want to explain to the guys a little bit about the importance of having a website, and doing really well on Google?
Yeah, I mean, having an established website is super important. Something that I actually didn't know until recently. We've had a website, the whole since we opened, but something I didn't realize is that website authority is largely based off of the age of the website. So
Yep.
if you don't have a website, getting it now might be like the most important thing that you can do. That way,
Yep.
a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, that website is considered established, right? And then
Ah.
the website, it's the website that is listed inside of Google My Business. When people are searching and Google's trying to make a decision on who to put at the top of that map pack, that local pack, the 3-pack,
Yep.
they're not only looking at your Google My Business, they're also looking at the website that you have listed that's connected to that Google My Business. And
Yep.
this comes into play as well when you run Google Ads, that you want your website keyworded to what people are typing into Google. So
Yep.
you want to make sure that your website says personal trainer, personal training, the city that you're in. And that's kind of the step one to having a quality website. One, have one at all, and then two, make sure that it's keyworded nicely, and it also has quality photos of your facility and of your actual clients. Don't don't put like photos of Ronnie Coleman on your
Photos of me with my top off, sloppy rigs.
Yeah, exactly. Don't
do
put
that.
photos of a bunch of shredded guys with stringers and chicks in bikinis on your personal training website that attracts overweight people. That it's going to turn people away and it's going to turn them off. And you want people to spend time on your website because that tells Google that your website is legitimate and that it's giving quality information to the people that stop there. So you want people to stay on your website for a long time because it raises that authority level of your site. So,
and mate, with the keywords, I remember when we were getting blogs written for our website for Google, is you can get blogs written, and then to get blogs with keywords costs more, essentially, because it's so important, right? And to be able to write a blog with certain keywords, it's a little bit of an art form, right? You've got to be really good at it. Mate, tell us just a little bit about keywords, why it's important, and how it helps with Google.
Yeah, the most important thing is the relevance, the keyword relevance compared to what the person is typing into Google, right? And what you want to get ranked for. Because there's people out here typing things into Google, and if you don't know what a keyword is, there's two types of keywords, I guess. There's regular single keywords, and there's what they call long tail keywords. Long tail keywords being like personal training near me, right? An extra little phrase in there. So these keywords are the most popular words that people are typing into Google when they're looking for your service. And by having these keywords on your website, it tells Google that, hey, I'm a good fit for this person that's searching for this keyword on Google, the most popular search platform in the world. So, don't, just because you're a local business, I went through this, don't think there's not enough people searching for what you do. There is.
No, everyone, mate. People live and breathe on Google.
Yep.
I probably use Google 20 times a day.
They are on their phones all day long. So you want to make sure that you are the relevant and have the most authority in your neighborhood for these keywords that people are typing into Google.
Yep. And mate, one of the things I love most, you're such an incredibly intelligent man, but also incredibly hardworking. Where have you learned about this? Obviously, you've delved into it. You've got such amazing, broad knowledge on the topic, and very passionate because it's helping your business. But like, where have you kind of studied, and how have you kind of picked up this stuff along the way?
Man, I've really just learned myself through a lot of YouTube, a lot of trial and error, and then also a lot of times I think people overlook when you think something's a good idea. Think about it for a second, because I've always knew, like, even when I first started, that I wanted to look legitimate online. I wanted people to be impressed with what they saw when they fell upon our website or came across a photo. Every single thing, I always knew that I wanted it to be the best. And if you just do those things, that's really all you have to do. And then you learn in time, you find out ways to learn the technicalities of those things. Right? If you want your online reputation to be A+, the technicalities will find their way into your life and into your system. So, I've just taught myself over time. I've hired a lot of business coaches. I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on various coaching, most of them being social media and Facebook and stuff. And I think that what ended up happening was, those things like taught me some stuff, But at the end of the day, for some reason, I kept getting these people coming in from somewhere that wasn't social media. And I could never figure out like how or why. And really, when we started working and tracking the KPIs, that's when I started to focus more on, okay, well, these leads are coming in over here and they're converting. How are they finding this? Like what's going on? And that's when I started learning about these other things. So if from the beginning you want to have this, online presence and you want your business to be great, in time the technicalities will find their ways to you. And that's kind of how I found them. I was like, where are these people coming from? And I remember for a long time I thought that they were our Google ads. And obviously some of them are, but way more were actually coming from the Google My Business, from that local map pack, that 3-pack. That's where when I really started diving into this, that's where a lot of them were coming from. And then in the beginning, I didn't have this review system forever. I have it now. But in the beginning, we probably had twice as many 5-star reviews as anybody in the area before I came up with that system. And that happened just because when you provide the best product and the best service you possibly can, people are going to leave you reviews. And then that's going to help your ranking. And that eventually you'll start to want to figure out those technicalities, and they'll all start to come together. And I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of how it worked for me. And so that's the only way I know how to explain it.
Mate, you said like such, and I don't want people to rush over on how important it is, where, obviously Phil wants a lot of Google reviews for his business. Looks good, helps on Google. But the whole fucking core fundamental of that is delivering an amazing service where someone's willing to give the review. And our business, Phil, was a little bit different. We wanted all the photos of people losing 5, 10, 15 kilos. So when we changed our goals, not from the amount of money we wanted to make, we wanted like 30,000 photos. What it forced us to obsess about is product and customer service and how we treat people. And your way's a little bit different with the Google reviews, but because you know that you're going to message me in 8 weeks, right, and you're going to ask me how my training's going, and you don't want me to say it's bad, you don't want to say I'm unhappy, and what you really want is for me to leave you an amazing Google review that helps your business, you can show your kids in 10 years. It makes everyone focus on product and actually being world-class at what they do, instead of just focusing on how many leads, how many sales can we get, which is so common, where people focus on the wrong metrics because you can't scale a bad service. Like you just can't, right? People just leave before the 8-week mark before you even get a chance to chat to them, right?
Yeah, and there's nothing I hate. That's funny because there's nothing I hate more than, and this happens obviously sometimes, but there's nothing worse than when I get that reminder and that person is no longer a client.
Yeah,
it's like kind of heartbreaking, and it's kind of like, it's frustrating. You're like, can't let that happen again. I don't, when you have to click the task, when you have to delete the task instead of checking it off as done, it's just like infuriating. You want that chance to ask them. And the only way to do that is to provide a good service, like you said.
Mate, so we're really excited to have you in the inner circle. Phil and I are going to organize some stuff over the next 3 to 4 weeks. But Phil, mate, if anyone wanted to, and I hope you don't mind me saying this publicly, if everyone ever wanted to maybe chat to you privately, do a bit of coaching with you on Google, what would be the best way for them maybe to get in contact with you, my friend?
You can hit me up on Facebook. I have Facebook. My Instagram is just otg.phil. Most of our stuff comes out on our gyms page, which is OTG Fitness. But Facebook is good. If you Google OTG Fitness, you'll definitely find us. Kind of see, you can see what our culture is like and everything. But you can fill out there's a contact form there. There's a phone number there that you can call or text as well. But Facebook's great. I'm trying to get more active on my personal social media. Honestly, like the past probably 6 to 12 months, my personal social media has not been that good, but I
Yep.
really, most of my time in the past 6 to 12 months has been spent on more on the Google side than
Yep.
the social media side. So I think now like our Google is at a place where maybe I can step back and let the systems kind of run their play now, and maybe
Yep.
focus on my own personal social media. But yeah, Facebook or Instagram is great. Also, you can Google OTG Fitness. You'll find us, and you
Check
can
it out.
check. You can get in touch with me with that phone number, that's on
Yep.
that page as well.
And guys, if you ever get lost and you want to chat to Phil, we talk pretty much like 3, 4 times a week.
Yeah.
So you can contact me and I can connect you up on socials and things like that.
Yeah, email is great as well. Actually, on that note, yeah, and my email is just Phil FIL. Nobody can spell my name right, so it's just FIL at otgfitness.com. Easy.
Love it. Mate, I do think we have a follow-up episode, maybe in a month for sure. We
Okay.
didn't actually get to dive into the Google Ads component of it. But mate, just want to thank you so much. Firstly, for being like the world's fucking best client. I wish I had 1,000 Phils, and then my life would be legitimate.
Yeah.
But then just mate, how hard you work, like outside, like you're self-taught. You didn't take, you were inquisitive. You found out your numbers. You wanted to identify like what's actually happening in my business, and to hear you present today on this topic has absolutely blown me away. So, mate, congratulations on that. All your hard work is much deserved. I'm just so incredibly proud of you, bro. You're a savage. You're a
Appreciate
fucking
it.
beast. Yeah.
Trying to work,
Okay. And mate, we'll have you on very soon.
Sounds good.